everybody. Welcome to a new episode of DFV. I am Blak Cinephile.
I am AKA Brad.
That's AKA Brad. I like this one today, man. We're paying homage to the lady J Lo, and we're looking at two good J Lo thrillers today.
Yes.
Well, one is I guess more of a crime sleek drama than a thriller, but both films that J Lo plays a gives a lead performance in that she pretty much nails, and like I think one of these are kind of like more underrated than celebrated when it comes to her criteria of her filmography as far as like on the critical side. I mean,
Yeah, I was looking up some of the reviews for these, and one of them kind of surprised me how low the scores are generally for it from a critic standpoint.
mm-hmm. I
So
agree.
it was kind of surprising to me. But yeah, two Jennifer Lawrence or not Jennifer Lawrence, God,
Yeah, one job.
Jennifer
man.
Lopez.
One job.
One job.
Yep,
Yeah,
two Jennifer Lopez films today, man. We got Steven Soderbergh's Out of Sight, and we got Enough, directed by Michael Apted.
yes. One of which she's kind of a secondary player in the movie, not so much the lead of the movie.
She gets top billing. She gets top billing.
Yes.
She shares top billing with another actor. But quick question: you've seen any of these before?
I have not. This was the first time watching both of these movies.
Wow, really? This is my first time seeing Out of Sight, but Enough is one of my favorite movies. All right, man. With that being said, let's get into it. Which one you want to do first?
So I was kind of looking at these two and thinking maybe chronologically.
You know I'm not a chronological man, dude. Why you gotta do this to me?
Just for this episode.
Just for the culture. All right. For this episode, we'll do chronological. You want to take over Out of Sight?
Sure. So Out of Sight follows the story of a bank robber who has been sent to prison, named, I'm trying to remember his name right now, Jack.
One job.
Yeah, one job. I have one job.
Foley. It's an easy name.
Yes. So Foley is a bank robber that is sent to prison. In prison, he meets other people that have information on a jewel or a diamond collector who they are going to rob. In prison, he meets other people, one of which is a guy named Snoop, who is also going for the same heist at the same time, who ends up teaming up with him. Meanwhile, we have Jennifer Lopez's character, who is a CIA agent trying to figure out how to stop what she was originally there at the prison for. What was it?
I think she was serving a summons or something.
Yeah.
Something like, no, not serving a summons, but I think it was routine work as to why she was there.
Right, which got her entangled up when she was kidnapped by them when they were breaking out of prison, and she got entangled into the entire thing as she kind of fell for Foley in a way during this entire event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So basically, long story short, Foley falls for Cisco. He knows it's bad. His main boy, Buddy, played by Ving Rhames, I love him in this movie. He even tells him, dude, what are you doing? We just broke out of prison and you're trying to like get together with a U.S. Marshal. Are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
So I'd say a little bit of this movie is a little far-fetched, but that's kind of the fun of it. This guy, he's head over heels for this woman. And her, on the other hand, she's trying hard to deny the fact that she's head over heels for him.
It's forbidden love.
Yeah, pretty much. It's forbidden love. It's love that should not be. And it makes for great chemistry between George Clooney and Jennifer Lopez. Like, from the first scene of them together in the trunk, and they're talking about movies and like, the dialogue is so funny, but so charming at the same time. It plays very well. If you didn't have
Mhm.
two leads in this film that had chemistry, this film would not work.
Oh no, not at all. This definitely is held together by the fact that they work so well with each other, and even the scenes where they're apart from each other and everything, they still work well with it. Uh, like you said, even Buddy kind of acting as that comedic relief for like all the heists and everything like that when they're talking about everything, where he
Hmm.
has like his faith and everything, where he's like, "I'm praying for you," you know I gotta get back to my kids and everything like that. So we're not going too hard. We gotta just be in and out. That's it.
Yeah, and then there's a thing where he says hey, you talk to your sister? He said, yeah, she's praying for me.
Yeah,
Every time his sister is mentioned, he always says, my sister's praying for me.
yeah. It's definitely. I love the relationship that they have with each other, Foley and Buddy, because you can see that they care for each other and everything like that. Because
Yeah.
Foley breaks out of prison and everything, and Buddy's the one there to pick him up. So once the two are together and everything, it's really a great kind of I don't want to say criminal buddy movie, but it is a criminal buddy movie between those two, as well as the love story between Cisco and Foley.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, you know what? I was gonna say something. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, this is directed by our boy Steven Soderbergh.
Yeah, we've been hitting up a lot of his movies lately.
Yeah, we did Sex Lies and Videotape, and what was another one we did?
Oh man, so Soderbergh.
He has so many. Well, what I was gonna say in regards to this movie was one of the things you gotta love about Soderbergh is that he's so unconventional. He's such an unconventional director that every film he approaches, he just has to do something new with it.
Mhm.
Like the thing I like about this movie is that it's such a mainstream film, like George Clooney, J Lo, sexy crime thriller. He approaches this, but he approaches it in a Soderbergh way. Like there's like unconventional edits and cuts, and the story still flows naturally, even though it's told in an unconventional way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's basically we're continually cutting back between what's going on with Cisco and trying to get on the case so she can figure out what's going on and trying to find clues as to what Foley's up to. And then you have Foley in the background meeting up with people he's met in prison, getting the details on the heist, getting everything planned out, working with Buddy to kind of just calm him down so they can go through with everything. So yeah, we have two stories that basically continually intersect. One of the main points being when I think they were at a bar in a hotel. Is that where they first met? Outside of
Yes, yes, yes. A bar in a hotel.
yeah, which
And
I love how the scene starts with some random guys hitting on Cisco and just being
right.
like, "Oh yeah, I bet I can pick her up and everything." And the one comes in with a story of, "I bet you're like a new intern at a sales firm that just got that big new account, but everybody doesn't believe that you can do it." And she uses that story when Foley comes in, is what are you doing in town?
I like that, but I also like how somewhere in the conversation, Foley is like, "All right, how long you want to keep this up? Like, come on, these characters we just made up, they're boring. It's best if we just like go with the truth. Like, I am who I am, and you are who you are." And another thing is, I like how it cuts from this conversation to them eventually meeting up at a hotel and having sex. But I just love the cuts. I love the close ups on the hands touching. Like this is a great romantic crime movie. But
It is. It definitely has like a good heart to it and everything, which especially comes up during the climax of the movie. Uh, I don't know if you want to jump to that quite yet,
we can
or if you
jump
want to.
all we can jump all over wherever you want to touch on.
Yeah, well, one of the things with the climax of the movie, after they've gone to the house with the uncut diamonds. They're going to rob it and everything like that. It comes to a point where Cisco gets there and has to pull the arrest on Foley. And I love how the scene plays out because you have the other people that were there to pull off the heist. They've all been killed at this point. One of the best one, the guy literally just falls on his gun and shoots himself.
I thought that was such a great Coen Brothers moment.
Oh yeah.
And the guy's already an idiot. So it's like you can't look at that like, oh, that was out of nowhere. It was like, well, yeah, that's expected of white boy. That's expected of him.
Right. Yeah, I love that prior to that he was like told go look after Foley, and then he like gets distracted by the kitchen and he just shows back up and Snoop's like, "So, where's Foley? What are you doing?" "Oh, I forgot about that, but I got some new stuff in the truck." "What'd you get?" "Steaks."
Yeah, he was an idiot. He was an idiot. But the best lovable idiot out of this whole cast is Steve Zahn's Glenn. I loved Glenn so much.
It has the kind of lovable screw up.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. Even the conversation that he has with Cisco in the car and everything like that as they're like driving away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I absolutely loved him as a character as well.
But I wanted to say, there were some heavy hitters in this cast, man. We had like a young Viola Davis in here. She had like a nice cameo. Isaiah Washington. We had Nancy Allen. I know her from like a few Brian De Palma films. But I wanted to say, man, looking at this film reminded me so much of why I love Michael Keaton. Like, even though he has a small scene, he is great in that scene.
Oh yeah.
You know,
You
go
even
ahead.
forget Samuel Jackson makes an appearance in the last like 30 seconds of the movie
That's
because
the
he has to be in everything.
He does. Like my wife had came in around that time and she was like, oh, who was he in this movie? I'm like, I didn't expect him. He just showed up.
He just shows up in the
Right.
back of a cop car, or no, in the back of like the secured cop car. He just
Right.
shows up and it's like, "Who are you?" "Yeah, I just broke out of prison and they caught me again." "How many times are you breaking out?" 27 times. And then
9.
cut to credits.
Right. I think he said 9. It
Oh,
was
did
his
he say?
ninth
Okay.
time. Yeah, but I was gonna say, have you seen Jackie Brown?
I have not.
Okay, it's a Tarantino movie. Um, this movie is based off an Elmer Leonard book. If he wrote the book for like Get Shorty, Be Cool, and all of them, and like he also wrote the book for Jackie Brown. And Michael Keaton's character is the same character from Jackie Brown. So like if you know the story behind that, this movie's made by Universal. Miramax made Jackie Brown. Tarantino told Miramax, look, they want Michael Keaton in the film to play that character from Elmer Leonard's novels. Just let him do it. Don't charge Universal for it. So basically, Tarantino, like I guess the story is he stepped in and made sure Miramax didn't charge Universal an extra fee to use that character because that character was really licensed with Miramax Jackie Brown.
Okay.
So I thought that was a nice cinema connection.
So he's
Cinematic
literally
connection.
playing the same character from another movie.
Yeah. He's more nuanced than Jackie Brown. In this film, he's kind of uh he's kind of a dummy because he doesn't really catch on that her father is messing with him and like really calling him out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he has more nuance in Jackie Brown. He's kind of a better cop in that movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, there's some great cameos in this movie. That's one that I didn't realize that there was like a little bit more meat to it.
Yeah, I gotta say from the opening scene of the film, like it takes a certain kind of star with charisma to sell you on liking somebody that's a robber or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like you could get Johnny Depp playing John Dillinger, and John Dillinger was Public Enemy #1, so he was kind of like a figure that a lot of people like said, oh yeah, he's a badass. But I like how Jack Foley, you know, George Clooney just brings the charisma like from scene one in the bank where he's talking with the cashier. He's like, hey, how's it going? You see that guy over there with the open suitcase? Oh yeah. He's sitting in front of some important guy that works at our bank. Okay, well, you're gonna give me the money out of that cash register, and if you don't, that guy who has the open suitcase is gonna shoot the important guy between the eyes. Now, don't panic. I don't want that to happen, but
Mhm.
yeah, you just give me some of the bills right there. You'll be just fine. And he's giving the
Yeah.
charming George Clooney smile the whole time.
Well, not only that, then he's pretty much going. Also, he's gonna wait until I leave before to make sure that you don't ring that police bell. So by the time that he leaves, we're golden. So if you can keep up with that,
Right. Yeah,
yeah, I love his charisma. And also, like after he gets out of prison, the first thing he does is literally grab Jennifer Lopez's character and throw her into the trunk of a car and then jump into the trunk of the car with her.
well, that made sense because Buddy came to a checkpoint and he knew that Buddy was going to get searched by cops. They were going to overlook the vehicle because, like, when you notice when they're in the car
Mhm.
stops and you hear a cop say, "All right, carry on."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It makes sense, but at the same time, literally, he's grabs a girl that's and throws her right in the trunk of the car as soon as he gets out of prison. Like, not exactly a likable character trait that he's going up against an uphill battle here with his actions.
Well, I don't think it makes him unlikable, but I would say it makes him like you just keep making mistakes, don't you, pal?
Yeah.
But I like how when he's talking to his friend on the phone and he tells her in code like, "Hey, we're breaking out 6:30 tonight." She's like, "Okay, who's gonna be the getaway driver?" "What do you mean, me?" "Well, we know what happened last time you got in the car."
Yeah.
Because the car didn't start when he was trying to escape the bank. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
you gotta love the dialogue in this, man. Like Scott Frank did a good job. Um, yeah, man, dude, Don Cheadle, bro. Like, there's not any role that this man can't do. I'm convinced.
I completely forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a versatile actor, and I love him in this dude because even though he's the villain, he's still Don Cheadle, so he still has that charisma that you can't look away from.
Yeah, he comes off as pretty menacing too in scenes. Like you have
Yeah.
Foley, who is very cocky and pretty much thinks he's always like 3 steps ahead of everybody going up against him. And but that doesn't mean that he's not a formidable kind of person.
Hmm.
Especially when they're in, what was it, the boxing uh training area?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where you're basically he's surrounded by his men and everything, and Foley's still keeping his cool. In hey, what are we doing? Want to go outside? We can go outside. We can talk. Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, that one scene, like this film does get very dark in some places, but the thing is, it doesn't leave the tonal balance. The tonal shift isn't enough to take the film off of its axis. And like you know what I mean. Like you got the scene where they're in the car and Cisco and Maurice is saying to Glenn like, "Hey man, listen, this isn't your plan anymore. It's my plan. It's not your jewels now. It's my jewels. Now we're
Mhm.
gonna go over and we're gonna find this person I know off the street. We're gonna ask them, and then we're gonna go and do this heist." And I love how the scene is shot because you don't really know what's going on until you go to the crime scene afterwards when J Lo catches up with everybody else. But like you just see like a hatchet coming down, Don Cheeto spraying red paint on the wall, and I'm like, well, what's going on here? And then you see the crime scene later. It's like, oh man, they really jacked those people up.
Yeah. It's it, there are a couple scenes that kind of take you out of the movie and go, oh yeah, these are bad people. That's right. These aren't
Right.
lovable thugs.
Yeah. And then there's a
These are
scene.
criminals.
Then there's a scene towards the end, which I guess you could see it's going to that point, but it does feel a little out of left field, but it it makes sense where Clooney is talking to Ving Rhames and he's like, "All right, man, you go on without me, man. Like I'll catch up." It's like I can't let you go back in there by yourself. He's like, "Man, they're gonna rape that girl and kill home and kill what's his face. Like I can't let that happen." and it's
Oh
like,
yeah, his maid.
right, right. Well, no, I is it his maid? I thought it was just
Uh,
his mistress.
no, I thought it was a maid.
Was she a
Maybe
maid?
not.
I thought she worked with him, didn't she? I don't know. Maybe it might be
Yeah.
his maid. Um, but yeah, like I like how he there's a there's a morality to his character that makes you like him all over again in
Mm-hmm.
that moment as he goes in to kind of save the day, so to speak. And just before the moment where Cisco decides to shoot him in the leg in the showdown, you see him empty out the bullets in the bedroom right before he goes out and says, listen, I'm not going back to prison. And she's like, put the gun down. I like that because it's subtle moments like that that show his character.
Right. Like even in the heart of this moment, the gun was a bluff.
Mm-hmm.
It was only there to try and make her, a little bit scared to do anything so he could leave. Uh because he had, everybody else in the house is dead at this point for the heist. So he's the fall guy for everything that happened, and the diamonds are gone because Buddy has them in his driven off with him. So I also love the reveal with at the beginning of the movie when they're first like in the prison talking, or no, like the flashback sequence when they're in prison talking about the uncut uh, diamonds, and Foley's like, "Have you ever seen uncut diamonds? They basically just look like rocks." And when they're in the
Yeah,
house like looking around for it, he like immediately tunes into the fish tank and realizes that they're being hidden as pebbles in the fish tank. And
that's
it's like,
great
oh,
writing.
that's great. I absolutely love that little twist to that.
But that's even off that, like that's genius. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's a genius place to hide diamonds.
Right, because nobody is going to look inside of a fish tank. Even if you looked in the fish tank, it looks like normal rocks. You wouldn't be
Right.
able to discern the regular pebbles from the diamonds.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Yeah, this film was interesting because Steven Soderbergh, um, the producer on this film, I forgot which producer it was, but there was a producer that told him he offered the film to him. Last name Silver, but it wasn't Joel. It wasn't Joel Silver, who's known for The Matrix. It was another Silver, Casey Silver.
Mhm.
He offered him Out of Sight with George Clooney in the lead, and Soderbergh was like, "I'm not really a mainstream guy though." And the guy was telling him like, "Look, man, not many offers like this are gonna come along to you. Like, you're known as the independent guy. To have mainstream clout though, you should do a film like this." So he convinced him to do the film, and he looks at it as a great moment in his career because it gave him leverage to do the kind of more high priced independent films he wanted to do.
Right.
You know, yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
think
was able to prove himself to be able to get the creative freedom.
yeah, like that's what I love about this. This is a guy who takes a mainstream idea, a mainstream picture, still puts his own creative visual stamp on it, and doesn't sacrifice his integrity. You know, yeah, that's why I got a lot of love and respect for Steve. But when it all comes down to it, man, I get us a 4.5.
I definitely give this a 4.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it holds up. It's a very good kind of crime thriller movie. It's got a lot of fun scenes, great characters. It's a good movie.
I just can't believe it took me this long to see it because this is such a classic movie.
See, this is one that I know that I've run across before. Uh, but yeah, it's weird that I haven't actually sat down and watched it up until this point.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
Yeah.
know that before I was doing a binge on a bunch of like top rated George Clooney movies, and I know this one came up on the list, but I just kind of skipped over it for some reason.
Mm. Okay. Okay. All right, you ready to move on?
I am ready to move on.
All right, man. I'll try to hide my giddiness. Next on this list, man, we got Enough, directed by Michael Apted. So this movie, pretty simple film. So Jennifer Lopez stars as Slim. She's an ex waitress who, after marrying who would be the man of her dreams, She starts to realize that her man is cheating on her, and on top of that, domestic violence happens. He becomes a very controlling, abusive husband, and she has to get away. So for the both, I love how this film like covers everything in the prelude, like in the opening 10 minutes, like everything from meet cute, marriage, settling the kids, settling the marriage, downfall. Um, from that point on, most of the film is about her and her daughter escaping her abusive husband. And this guy has connections. He has connections to cops. He has connections to FBI agents. He's a very dangerous man. And it basically comes down to throughout the film, at what point do you stop running and fight back? You know what
Well,
I mean?
in the movie, she basically hits a wall that she can either show up
Right.
and get caught, or she can not show up and basically becomes a criminal.
Yeah.
So he uses his resources to basically throttle her down to no longer having the option to run.
Yeah. Yeah. That's basically it. Let me tell you something, man. I haven't seen Hustlers yet. I know a lot of people like praise that as J Lo performance wise, but to me, man, this might be to me Jennifer Lopez's best performance since Selena. I mean,
Okay.
like she is so great in this film. Like I saw this in theaters with my grandma when it came out, and it's one of my favorite movies. But what I like about this film is her portrayal is so authentic of a woman that is like mentally, emotionally broken down and has to like retrain her mind, retrain her body to fight back.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really believe she really gives her all into this film, in my personal opinion. That's why it's such an underrated film. The critics panned it, but it really has been an underrated film over the years. But I gotta ask you, like, before I get into certain moments I like you as a first time watcher, what did you think?
So the what I like about this movie is that it kind of has that thrill of he has all these connections. Mitch has all these connections with the police, the FBI. He has the connections basically to wiretap and find her wherever she is. Anytime she uses a payphone, they can detect her voice. Anytime that she sits in a city for too long, he has people in like the local police and pretty much every town, working with him to find her. And it just basically they wait for her to slip up somewhere. It adds this level of tension of where is she going to mess up? When is it going to come out that, he finds her? Because she's running from him. And it definitely, I absolutely love that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because when it comes to creating tension, some movies don't know how to do it right.
Right.
Here, it's done perfectly because it can happen at any point in time. And it makes even some of the simple scenes, like her dropping her daughter off at school, make you go, okay, is this where something's going to happen? Like, where is it going to happen? And it brings in that same tension that she feels where she goes everywhere, that she has to change her name, change her identity to try and hide from her ex husband.
Let me just say, man, Billy Campbell, dude, he's just pitch perfect as the controlling, abusive husband, man. Like he was pitch perfect in that role. Like he plays a guy that when you first meet him, even when we learn later on in the movie that it was a setup, but even when we see him later on kind of intimidate the guy that's trying to hit on the waitress, that's trying to hit on Slim because of
Mm.
a bet, he has a little bit of menace in his eyes, and we're like, you know what, maybe he's just a guy that's being a gentleman, you know what I'm saying? Maybe he's just looking out for the lady. And later on, after they get married, he talks to the guy that owns the house. He goes, hey, my wife likes your house. I want to buy it from you, way above market price. Guy looks at him
Mm.
and goes, dude, are you out of your mind? He
Yeah,
goes,
house isn't for sale.
right. He goes, well, yes, I'm very much out of my mind. Now imagine if someone out of their mind, you don't give them what they want, and they make your everyday a natural living hell. And he says it with a smile on his face, and I'm like, dude, this guy is perfect in this role.
Oh yeah, as like the two-faced kind of maniacal person that
Mm-hmm.
Mitch is in this movie. I love how, when Slim first finds out that, he's been sleeping with another woman and cheating on her and everything like that. Uh, she kind of goes through this phase of it can't be true, but going through and going, but it has to be. Like, here's all the evidence and everything, and then confronting him, and he just lies right through it, and just, I've only met her once. I don't know anything else, and it's. And then I think that's when he first hits her too,
Well, no,
or
no,
that we
no.
see it.
He doesn't deny it. He admits to it, but it's a little later in the marriage after he just keeps doing it. And
Oh
this is
yeah.
this is before he hits her. She goes, you know what? How many are there? And he goes, does it matter? And you could just see the look of heartbreak on her face. Like he's like, she's like, does it matter? And then that's when he hits her. The thing that's so like a little unsettling about that scene is it goes from a slap, then it goes to a punch. Like he
Mm-hmm.
punches her, and I'm like, wow. And then you can see that dominating presence over her when he crouches down. He goes, what? You want to fight me? Like, he says, I'm a man, sweetie. It's the natural order of things. And I'm like, wow, this guy is horrifying. He's horrible. Um, and I like how you see the reverse of that later on when she basically just kicks the shit out of him
Oh
in the
yeah, she
finale.
absolutely takes him down.
Yeah.
I love, like, kind of going to that scene, the prep work that she does for it, because
Mm-hmm.
you see the training montage of her like learning everything, and then you see her in the house like putting it together. How many steps to get here, how many steps to get here, looking for his weapons that he has hidden around the house, using the metal detector, the cell phone jammer, like using everything at her disposal to get the upper hand in this situation
Yeah.
and make sure that he can't weasel his way out of the situation, knowing full well one of them's dying that night.
I think that's why this film is such a classic because it has such a great payoff. Like the payoff delivers when it comes down to that final fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
for
like
sure.
yeah. Yeah, man. It's like I agree with you, man. The tension hits so well in this film, like through each of the beats as we go along. Like I like how when she goes to hang out with her she goes to hide with her ex-boyfriend in Seattle. They go to like crash at his place for a while. And when the FBI guys show up, this scene wasn't I don't think it was meant to make me laugh, but there was a scene where the FBI agent had a knife to the ex-boyfriend's throat, and he says, look, man, I don't want no trouble, just leave. And then his boy is like, hey man, let's just go. He says, but let me just cut him a little. He says, no, not today.
Yeah.
I was like, what has he done other days?
And why not today? What makes today so special that he doesn't get to murder one of the people, that they're hassling?
Right, right. What do you think about the daughter, man? I thought she had great chemistry with the daughter.
She had good chemistry with the daughter. The daughter to me fell into like the children actors where you have 10% of them are good, about 20% of them are fine, and then you have 70% of them that are just, they don't have the acting chops yet,
Mm,
that they don't know how to put in the emotion behind scenes. They're basically just reading the script. It's basically the robotic, you know, but mom, why can't I talk to dad?
right, right. You gotta have the right kind of actor for that, man.
Right. And sadly, I don't think that she was old enough to put that emotion into the scenes that were required for a thriller movie like this.
Mm,
So the chemistry was there between her daughter and her. You could see that and everything. Even between Mitch and his daughter, you could see the chemistry there where she wanted to be with him and he was fighting for her and everything like that. Because his entire goal had nothing to do with Slim. He just wanted his daughter back.
okay, okay. Yeah,
And that was good.
it is. It is hard to find a good child actor. I think one of the best child actors I ever saw was you remember Looper? The Ryan
Oh
Johnson
yeah,
film. Yeah,
that film was amazing.
dude, that child actor was great, man.
Oh yeah, that I agree with. That was one of those times. Like the kid from E.T. is like one of those,
Yep, Henry Thomas.
perfect child actors. Yeah. So yeah, there are that 10%. And sadly, this movie falls into like the norm of like child actors where it's like, okay, that you couldn't do a second read, or was that like the fifth read and they just went with it? Because they also have a time limit that they can use the kid on set and everything too. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't have so many line reads for a scene, especially a long scene.
yeah. That's child labor laws. You can't be like, all right, Casey, I need you to give this to me here. All right, I
Yeah.
need you to deliver this line. Then you got the tutor coming up like, hey, let's just be a little nicer. You know, she's a kid, and it's like I'm making a movie. I got like $20 million on the line.
I have my vision on paper and she needs to bring it to life, damn it.
Right, right, right. Yeah. Another thing I like in this movie is the relationship with her and her father, Jupiter.
Yes, because she had never formally met him before.
Right. Yeah. And I like how he has a change of heart later in the movie and actually sends her some money. But I love the dialogue where she comes to see him. And one lady is like, "Hey, there's a lady here says she's your daughter. I haven't had sex since 1996. Not in the
Oh
country
yeah,
anyway."
because he's looking at Slim's daughter.
Right, right, right. And then she comes up like, "Nah, it's me." And he goes, "Oh." And he does like a hard swallow. He's like, "Oh, okay. Well, what do you want?"
Yeah, that one lines up a little bit more.
Right, right. But yeah, man, I feel like Jennifer Lopez just nailed this movie, dude. She had charisma. She had a strong performance. This was one of those ones that dude, I think she got a I think she was nominated for a Razzie for this, but I was like, really? Y'all thought she was that bad?
Did you really get nominated for a Razzie for this one?
Yeah, that's crazy to me. Cause I look at this film today and I'm like, this isn't a Razzie performance to me.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that bad of a movie that it would get a Razzie for any aspect of it. The directing, the writing, the performances, or anything like that.
The only excuse I can make in my mind is that maybe this was at the height of like J Lo and Ben, and they thought, oh, she's a pop star. She's not a serious actress. Who's gonna take this film seriously? That's the only thing in my mind that makes sense.
Yeah, I can't think of anything for why this movie, because what's this sitting at on Rotten Tomatoes? If I recall correctly, it's
22%, I think.
yeah, 22%.
That's crazy.
IMDb is a 5.7. It like how on this movie?
That's crazy. I don't know, man. People just don't like this movie, dude. But it is what it is. If you ask me, I give this movie, and this is just because it's just straight personal favoritism. I give this movie a 5.
Really? Okay.
I really love this movie. I think it flows like jazz. It flows like high speed jazz. It hits each of the beats right, and it doesn't have one boring moment in it to me.
See, this one I think is a 3.5 to me.
Mm.
It's a good movie. It's above average, but that's about where it stands. It's a good thriller. It does that very well and everything. But beyond that, the dialogue and everything in this movie is just it's cliche even for the time that it came out to me.
Really?
I think so. Yeah, that's my opinion on it. Is
Okay.
the dialogue is very cliche. Uh, I think the things that this movie gets right are the tension between everything and the inevitable threat of Mitch and how he comes off as like such a great villain for her to go up against, especially like later in the movie when we see him like with another woman And then he's even cheating on her with another woman on top of that. Like he's got multiple affairs going and everything. Like he is a downright terrible person. And that last kind of fight scene, the choreography on it is great.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But beyond that, it's a standard movie to me. I don't get the hate for it. I don't think it's a bad movie. That so many people, I don't get that at all.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I think it's a great film. But okay, I hear what you're saying. So I guess on this one you lean more towards Out of Sight winning out.
Yes, for this double feature versus, I think Out of Sight definitely has a more cohesive story, better characters, it has more to it.
Okay. I can see how objectively Out of Sight is the better movie. This is just straight favoritism for me. I just lean towards enough because it's just one of my favorites. I've just seen it so many times.
Oh yeah. See, I can understand that. It's not a bad movie.
Yeah, it's very, very good. All right, man. It looks like I might be back. The wifey's talking about going to see The Woman King tonight.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you can't see Clerks, but you can go see that.
Well, I might sneak that in as a double feature.
There you go.
we go see The Woman King. No, actually, we go to Clerks 3 first, and she goes, "Where's Viola Davis? What movie is this?" Oh, this is the movie they played before the Woman King movie.
No, this is a trailer. Here? Don't worry about it.
Right. This is an hour and 30-minute trailer.
Right.
It's like sneaker in to go see that. Then we wait through the credits and the AMC cleanup people, and then we go, okay, Woman King is starting now.
Yeah, it's got to be start. Let's go up to the front counter and ask them when the movie's gonna start.
Right. I might still catch Clerks 3. I mean, after we'll see how she is after this film, and if she's all right, then I'll catch it. I mean, I'll catch it eventually.
Oh yeah,
it's on the radar.
It'll hit streaming at some point, like everything else that Kevin Smith's done. So,
yep. You going to see Pearl? Have you seen X?
I have not.
Oh, okay. So you know what Pearl is, right?
I saw the trailer for it and everything, and it didn't capture me.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a prequel to X. So I think that's why it's kind of a big deal right now. Some people say they like it. They say it's a nice funny like slasher movie. Well, not funny, but they say it's a nice slasher film. And they say it's a nice prequel to X, which I still haven't seen yet. But yeah, I want to see The Woman King, dude. Frankly, I still want to see Don't Worry, Darling. I don't.
I still want to see them, regardless of the drama around it, which is extremely stupid drama. It's very, very stupid drama that is going on around that movie. But the movie still looks pretty good.
It looks interesting, to say the least.
Yeah. Because the trailer has enough like mystery about it that it's like, okay, I really want to see this.
I think all of this was engineered. It was engineered to get bad ratings because it's like, with all this drama around it, this film better be a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not a masterpiece, I'm trashing it. I think that's the mindset a lot of critics had going in. Like, with all this nonsense with Harry Styles and Olivia, this film I better walk out of this thinking this is second to The Godfather.
Right. Yeah, this is definitely going in an uphill battle when it comes to the normal crowds, just because of everything going around it. But at the same time, because of the drama, more people might actually know about this movie than otherwise would.
No publicity is bad publicity.
Right.
Period.
So we'll see how it actually turns out and everything, both the movie and its numbers at the box office.
I remember talking to a guy, and it was on Facebook, and he's like, "This movie's gonna stink." He said I'll either love it or I'll hate it, and I think I'm gonna hate it. I said, "Why do you say that?" goes, oh, just the drama around this stuff, like, and I'm like, well, just because there's drama around it doesn't mean it's not a bad movie. Could be a bad movie. And like that's what I mean. Like that's like the attitude people have, like you said, the uphill battle.
Yeah. Which I don't understand how somebody can be like, oh, there's a lot of drama around this movie, so it's going to be bad. It's like, not necessarily. It depends on if the drama was on set drama or if it was post production drama. Like, where was the drama for this movie? Or is it because two of the actors had a feud on Twitter, months after filming wrapped up?
Mm.
Like, where's the drama coming from, and why do you think it affected this movie?
Look, man, biggest piece of evidence I have. There was drama between Tom Hardy and Charlie Theron on Fury Road. Is that movie not a perfect movie?
Oh, that movie is absolutely phenomenal in every sense of the word.
Okay, then. So, I wouldn't just throw the film under the bus and say it's bad. Like, so here's another thing. Patty Jenkins, her Star Wars film isn't happening anymore. It looks like they pulled it, and that it's kind of unclear whether it's going to be made or not. They pulled it from the schedule, to be specific. Now you got a lot of people in the comments. Oh, thank the Lord. I mean, Wonder Woman 84 was trash. I'm like, well, Monster and the first Wonder Woman were good. I'm like, yeah, that movie sucked, but I mean, then you got people that go, well, she didn't have that much control over Wonder Woman 1, so that might have been why that was a good movie. I'm like, come on, man, be fair. Like, maybe her storytelling skills wasn't good in the sequel, but she's still a good director.
Yeah, she definitely had a lot of ideas for the second one. They just weren't good ideas.
Exactly.
And that happens, Not every director is going to be batting, 1,000 every single go. Every once in a while they had to have a bad movie so you can appreciate the good ones they did.
Look, even Martin Scorsese had a New York, New York. Do you know what that movie is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, every director has a bad movie once in a while. I think Patty Jenkins is a very good director. It's just Wonder Woman 84 was just a bloated mess. That's all.
Yeah, it
Now,
just didn't have the direction it needed. But at the same time, it happens. I honestly, I was excited for her Star Wars movie just based on the premise alone that they were going with it, with the entire like rebellion, or not the squadron.
mm-hmm. Yeah, like somebody said it would have been Top Gun Star Wars edition, but I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Yeah, I'd absolutely love that.
Yeah. Now, now if the third Wonder Woman movie sucks, then I don't know if I can defend her much longer. But she'll learn from her mistakes.
You know what? I'll judge her when she gets away from Wonder Woman. Like if her movie after Wonder Woman is a bomb, then okay, yeah, there's something about her. But
I mean, look, it's like Colin Trevorrow. His first film, I think it was his first, Safety Not Guaranteed. I thought that was a great independent film. I love that film. I saw the latest. He didn't make the latest Jurassic World, did he? But
no, he did.
Oh, he directed that.
Yeah, he directed the second and third. I don't think he directed the first Jurassic World.
I think he did though. I think he did direct the first one, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look it up real quick. Because he was involved in some way. I think he directed it. Hold on. Yeah, he directed the first Jurassic World.
Did he? Okay.
So with that being said, I saw the last Jurassic World and I was like, okay. And I heard that the first one he made, people didn't like that. I was like, well, is he a one-time now I don't want to say show pony, but is he a one-time good movie guy? I heard some people didn't like the Book of Henry that he made. Like you do question this about these directors that have these great starting off points, but then after that, they kind of slowly make more and more bad movies.
I mean, his problem with Jurassic World is the first one it was always going to be heated on people loving it and people hating it, and there being no in between, because it was a new Jurassic, Park trilogy starting. So
Mm-hmm.
you had people that were like, I don't care what it is, I'm going to love it. I want to see more dinosaurs. I want to see more action scenes with that. I absolutely love that series and I want to see more of it. And then you have the people going, why are you creating a new thing? Why don't you, create something new instead of going off an existing property and blah, blah, blah. So that one was always going to have that, 50-50 split, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the second, where I'm trying to remember what the name of that one was. Terrible Jurassic World 2. Which basically the entire movie was, we're going to set it up so we can have dinosaurs roaming the planet. And everybody was like, okay, that movie was terrible, but at least the third one's going to have dinosaurs roaming all over the planet. And then he wrote the third one where he was like, guess what? Bugs.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. When you told me that, I was like, oh, this will be my first entry into this world. Plus Jeff Goldblum, Sam Neill, and Laura Dern are coming back. How could this not be? How could you fail? How can you fail a movie like this? But yeah,
he there's how you fail a movie like that.
he
He
found a
gave you
way,
the
huh?
script.
Yeah. And some people said they like his Star Wars script that he had when he was initially both supposed to make what would be called Rise of Skywalker later.
I
You know.
read it. There were some good ideas in it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know if it would have been better than what we got with Abrams, but it had some interesting ideas in it that I do like, and I kind of hope that they'll go back and utilize those in future Star Wars movies.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, so with that being said, man, like I'm just making a point that like Patty Jenkins, I'm not throwing the towel in on her yet. I'm kind of like you. Even though I kind of will be more reserved towards defending her if the third Wonder Woman sucks, I still will keep an eye out and see what she'll do outside of that.
Yeah, it comes out to what do they do after, having that big blockbuster, because there is a lot of pressure with having a giant movie like Wonder Woman.
But
There's a lot of pressure when you're taking on a franchise like that.
when you hear everybody say, "What's Wonder Woman's homeland? What's it called?"
Uh, Crap.
I don't want to say Olympia. That sounds a little too on the nose.
No, it's not Olympia.
Okay.
It's Themis. No.
Well, all right, I'll say this: when everyone is telling you they love the prelude when it was a young Wonder Woman on her homeland doing that race, and they say that was the only part of the movie they remember and that they actually liked. How about you make a whole movie set on that land with that type of action and thrills? You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely when you have this perfect world that you've created and you're just using it as the jumping off point before going into the boring norm of a city suburb.
Yeah, like come on, I like the 80s fashion. I like the production design, but it was like that's kind of all it had for it. Like it didn't grab me.
But I was right on my thinking, even though I like bounced back off of it. It is Themyscira.
Oh yeah, I already looked it up. Themyscira. Yeah, how
Okay.
about we just have a whole Wonder Woman movie set on Themyscira? I feel like that was sore.
I want to say that was one of those spin-offs that they were going to do, is they were going to have a prelude to Wonder Woman, like just taking place in Themyscira and kind of showing how they kind of grew up into this world that they have. And that was on like the docket when they had like the Deep movie for Aquaman, where it was going to take place in the trenches and everything, like the dark water. Back when DC was trying to come up with like new ideas and everything for movies, and they were like, let's just throw everything at the wall. And then they're Now just going, I don't know, just put everything on the Flash movie. What can go wrong? Just put all the chips on the Flash movie. We don't need any other movies. It's going to be the biggest hit of the century. What could possibly happen to, screw that up?
Hey, you see, we don't hear anything about him anymore. I mean, about them anymore.
But that's because they are in rehab.
Right. They're like, okay,
which I'm pretty sure rehab is just code for that they're locked away in a room inside another room that, WB holds the keys to, and the Discovery holds the second keys.
Right. Just lay down, don't say anything.
Here's a cot and a box of golden,
Here's some oatmeal. Sit over there, just eat that stuff.
Right, yeah.
I heard that Denzel is joining the MCU.
Is he?
Yeah, they said there was some, I don't know how true it is, but there were some actors that were going to join future MCU films, and I saw his name and I said, it's interesting.
See, I'm curious if he's joining as a mainstay character, because I know that they have some people like signed on to come into like a single movie and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like they have Henry Cavill's been signed on to be in a movie. Mark Hamill's signed on to be in a movie, but they're not signed on to be like mainstays of the MCU. Like it's one movie kind of thing.
I think it's that type of thing. Like he might be playing a supporting role, which I can't even picture that. Denzel's never been a supporting character.
Right. That'll be interesting. Unless he plays like the villain.
Maybe.
He could pull that off.
I'd say so. Definitely. All right, man. Well, that's it for me.
Oh, have you caught up on Primal?
I haven't caught up on anything, bro.
Oh, you need to. I finally sat down and watched the finale for it. And my God, if they don't do a season 3, I'm going to be disappointed. But season 2 ends on such a note that I wouldn't even be upset. Like it's the perfect end point for the series, even though I want more.
See, that's a great thing for a showrunner to do, bro. When they're just like, you know what, just in case we don't come back, let's leave these characters in a good place. We can pick them up when we come back, but let's leave them in a good place where it's like, hey man, if we don't come back, we gave them this.
Right. If we don't get that season 3 renewal, at the very least, we're giving, a great send off for these characters. And I know right now it's pretty controversial in like the Adult Swim communities going, what the hell was that? I want more. Give me more. Blah, blah, blah.
Now, was it an artistic choice made that the audience was just like, oh, we wanted more.
That's not how I wanted it to happen. Yes, it's exactly that.
So it was like I got you.
Yeah, it wasn't Tartakovsky was like put in a room and told, you got to do this. It was 100% him going, this is how I want to do this.
Hey, I guess I might have myself a marathon. Your boy is off for his 29th. I'm 1 year away from that big 3-0. Right. So I might have myself a little binge-a-thon.
I highly recommend it. Especially season 2 as a whole is absolutely fantastic.
Okay. Yeah, dude, Jenna D has always impressed me, dude. I haven't seen many of the Hotel Transylvania films, but he's always impressed me with Samurai Jack, Dexter's Laboratory, the some of the Clone Wars stuff.
The original Clone Wars he's absolutely fantastic at his craft. I know he has another show coming up, Unicorn or something like that.
That sounds like a kid's show.
I'm trying to remember what it's called.
It's called Unicorn. It's a kid's show. Should be, at least. Unicorn Warriors Eternal.
Is that what it's called?
That's what it's called. All right.
Yeah.
I think if I see the word warriors, then all right, maybe it's not for kids, but
I mean, he does do some stuff for like Dexter's Lab.
Dexter, yeah.
Samurai Jack is that like teenager kind of level. Primal's definitely on the more adult level.
Oh yeah, oh, I wouldn't show that to any kid.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, it's looking like it's looking like it might be a good middle ground. It's about ancient heroes protecting the world from an omnivorous force. All right, I'll give it a check. I'll give it a check. You can't go wrong with them. But
Right.
I'm gonna check it out, man. I'm gonna check it out. I know he said here that this was the last season for those two main characters. So, and he said he is thinking about a season 3, but it might deal with new characters.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he might decide to do like an anthology kind of thing where, the next season would take place, somewhere else in this same world.
I'm excited, man. I'll get into it.
Oh yeah. I highly recommend it.
All right. All right, y'all. We'll catch you on the next one. It's been another episode of DFV. Take care.
Yep.